Bradford City continue their 2025-26 League One campaign with a home clash against Matt Hamshaw's Rotherham United, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have gotten so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this game if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy, then make sure to like, comment and subscribe. But my team Bradford City, we currently sit third in the League One table. After 24 matches we've got 13 wins, 7 draws and 4 defeats, where we've scored 34 goals and also conceded at 25, which leaves us on a positive 9 goal difference and 46 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a win, a win and a loss. So decent form for us over the last couple of games. Obviously we have lost 50% of our total league matches so far this season in our last 5 matches, but recently then we had a fantastic 2-1 win away at Blackpool FC. A good performance really from Bradford City. It's been a long time since I think we've played as well as that. Maybe even the last time that we played against Blackpool, which was obviously the back end of November. But Baldwin with his first goal for the club and Will Swan scoring his first in nearly 4 months as well, either side of Ashley Fletcher's equaliser 11 minutes into the second half. But anytime you pick up 3 points on the road, it is certainly a big result. We also had a 3-0 defeat away at Mansfield Town. We made a lot of changes and rotation for this game. We were missing probably 5 or 6 of our key players, and it was understandable why we needed to make changes, but some of the players that were brought in, it should have never been starting, and we got absolutely thumped in that game. I don't think Mansfield were great in this one, in all honesty, but they had a resource up front. It was very clinical on the day, ran our defence ragged, and he's certainly a very good player. We also had a 1-0 win at home to Port Vale. We saw after Darren Moore was sacked, this was their first game, then after that they went and beat Blackpool at 5-1, so clearly no mugs. Clean sheet at home, Jensen Metcalf scoring his first Bradford City goal with a fantastic strike right into the top corner to secure all 3 points for Bradford City. We also had a 2-1 win at home to Wigan Athletic, who did in the end finish the game with 9 men, 2 red cards in that one. Great to see Stephen Humphreys score against his former side, and Joe Wright again popping up with a late winner in that one. I think his 3rd league goal of the season for Bradford City, and he scored a few very important goals. And we also had a 2-1 defeat at Leyton Orient. Very good up until we scored. They then made a tactical change where they obviously brought off Teo Adaramola, who has since been sent back to Crystal Palace and is probably available for loan once again. And then after that, it was, to be honest, quite an even game because we had some good opportunities. Sarsvik probably could have had a couple on the day. It was some sloppy defending really from us for both of the Leyton Orient goals, but thankfully we have since put this one behind us and it seemed to be just a bit of an off day for us in front of goal. Compared though to Rotherham United, they couldn't sit down in 22nd place in the relegation zone at this moment in time. After 24 matches, they've got 6 wins, 6 draws and 12 defeats. Well, they've only scored 22 goals so far this campaign and have also conceded at 35. They've got the joint second worst goal difference in the entire division with -13. It leaves them also on at 24 points, currently 4 points from safety, and their last 5 matches then have been a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss and a loss. If we are serious about wanting to challenge for automatic promotion, there is no question marks about it. This has to be a comfortable win for Bradford City. We normally don't make it as easy as that, but that's certainly what we have to be aiming for. Recently then, they had a 2-0 defeat at home to Peterborough United, an own goal from Rafferty and former Bantam Brandon Kayla finding himself on the score sheet as well. Recently Rotherham have been very poor and this just typifies that. At home haven't really created much, been dominated by Peterborough, who to be fair though have been very good under Luke Williams. They also had a 4-0 defeat away at Blackpool. They've been battered by Blackpool. We beat Blackpool. Surely that means we're going to beat Rotherham 6-1. Is that not how these things work? Obviously they were 2-0 down before they did get a red card, but recently, as we know, Fletcher and Bloxham have been absolutely flying and there's no real shame in losing to Blackpool, but I do think 4-0 is a pretty concerning scoreline. But looking at the stats, I do think it does seem a little bit harsh on Rotherham. They also had a 2-1 defeat away at Bolton Wanderers, where Sam Nombe did score a 90th minute equaliser in that one, but a mistake I think from Tom Holmes allowed Josh Sheehan in the end to get his brace in at that one and secure all 3 points, and another defeat for Rotherham. Looking at the stats, to be fair, Rotherham did give it a little bit of a go, but you look at what Bolton have created: 12 shots on target, 9 corners, nearly 70% possession, over 2xg. Bolton definitely did deserve the win. They also had a 3-1 defeat at home to Huddersfield Town. Leo Castledine, who is set to be recalled by Chelsea, which is big news for a lot of the chasing pack around Huddersfield. He's set to be sold to Middlesbrough, but in terms of Rotherham, they were absolutely battered in this game. Sam Nombe did find himself on the score sheet, but you look at the stats, to be the home side and only create 0.14 xg, only have 1 shot on target, only have 4 shots in the entire game. Absolutely embarrassing from Rotherham. And for me personally, I backed them to go down at the start of the campaign, and I've stuck with that throughout the whole season. I don't rate Hampshire as a manager whatsoever, and they also had a 1-0 defeat away at Plymouth Argyle. The worst scoreline in football is a 1-0 defeat, especially when you're going from South Yorkshire all the way down to Devon. Looking at the stats from the game, then Rotherham were probably a little bit unlucky in this one not to get more out of it, but having 16 shots and only 2 on target would either suggest they're very bad in front of goal, which I think they are, or there's a lot of shots there from distance. But Rotherham are clear there for the taking. We're very strong at Valley Parade. There's a lot of confidence from me coming into this game personally. Before we do go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 150 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your starting 11 for this game. Would you make any changes from Sunday's win against Blackpool? And also let me know down below your score prediction as well. In terms of my team then for this game, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I thought against Blackpool, like I said earlier on in today's video, that was for me our best performance for a number of months. So I wouldn't make too many changes coming into this game. I know obviously coming out of the festive period, we've now had a 6-day rest, but I think next week against Cardiff, and obviously that's where we come into a really tricky run where we've got Cardiff, Huddersfield and Lincoln on the bounce. We also do kind of need to be thinking about that one. But in goal for me, I would go with Sam Walker. Maybe slightly disappointed with the Blackpool goal, in all honesty. I don't think he's closed down the angle whatsoever. He's pretty much stood on the goal line, and Fletcher's got a big gap just to aim it into at his near post. I do think he could have done a little bit better for that one, and he did look, again, a little bit shaky at times, especially in that first half where crosses were coming into the box. He was kind of spilling it and just not looking too confident with the ball. So maybe the summer is where we've got to potentially ask questions. I don't know, I'm going to put that one to you down below. Do you think the summer, depending on obviously what division we're in, is that a position you think Bradford City might need to improve? But I do think on the whole so far this season, Sam Walker has been very good. In terms of my back three then, at right centre back, I would go with Aidan Baldwin. For me, he was absolutely outstanding against Blackpool, and not just because of his goal. It was great to see him finally get his first at Bradford City goal. It's taken 55 appearances for him to do so, but it was certainly worth the wait, and he could have had 2 in 2 minutes. Probably should have scored with that header as well just after, but Baldwin was really good against Blackpool, and we know our win percentage when he's in and out of the side. He has to play if he is fit and available. In the middle of my back three, I would go with Curtis Till. I thought personally he was absolutely outstanding against Blackpool. Headed, kicked, absolutely everything. He was brilliant, and you can see that we've certainly missed him over the last couple of months. You look at the 2 games that he's played and started in all of them, we've only conceded 1 goal in that time. He has been an absolute colossal at the back. I can only give him so much credit. From what we expected of him when he first signed for Bradford City versus what we've seen, he has been an absolute revelation, and for me personally, definitely does have to start. Obviously, it depends who Rotherham play as their striker, but we know they have got physical options at the top end of the pitch, and Curtis Till loves those type of battles. And at left centre-back, I would go with Ibu Toure. I think especially at home, Toure at left centre-back does make the most sense. He's probably been our most consistent player so far this campaign. I thought he was great again against Blackpool. They were trying to put all the goal kicks and stuff on top of him, given that he was the smallest of our back three, but he gave it absolutely everything, fought for the badge, and I think he suits him so well, especially in these type of games when we're going to be on the front foot. I think having Toure at left centre back is a very wise choice. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I would go with Josh Nerthville. I thought personally it was his best performance in a Bradford City shirts on Sunday against Blackpool since probably the last time that we played against Blackpool. I thought he was really good in that game, and it's been a long while since we've been able to say that about Josh Nerthville. Now in the reverse fixture where we did draw that game 2-2, Alex Patterson scoring a late late equaliser in that one. I thought Neufville wasn't great in that one, so hopefully he can build a bit of consistency now, keep his place in the side, because as we know, Brad Halliday is knocking on that door, and he has been very good for us in the league games that he has played, in any game to be fair that he's played so far this campaign. In terms of my two central midfielders, firstly I would go with the captain Max Power. Again, similar to Neufville, I thought against Blackpool on Sunday it was his best performance in a long time in a Bradford City shirt, and I'm always happy to credit as much as I am to criticise. I haven't been particularly impressed with Max Power over the last couple of weeks, maybe even months, but I thought on Sunday against Blackpool it was a proper leader's performance, and he wasn't just telling others what to do. I also thought he did his job very well as well. So for me personally, he keeps his place in at this side, and he's got to make sure he does not get another booking over the next couple of weeks. You don't really know when you want your captain to be missing 2 games, but it's certainly not in any of the 3 games that are going to follow this one, so he can't get a booking. Definitely not in the next 2. You could maybe get away with him missing 1 game, but either way, we don't want him to miss any of those. And partnering him in the midfield, I would go with Jensen Metcalfe. Obviously, we are looking a little bit light in that position at the time of recording, as Alex Patterson was sold yesterday to League 2 side at Walsall, so obviously we've only really got 3 options in there now. But Jensen Metcalfe, again, absolutely brilliant against Blackpool. His, as did everyone's, performance levels dipped against Mansfield, but I thought even then in that game him and Torre weren't that bad. But against Blackpool, back to his best. Jensen Metcalfe, he just gets better and better as each game does go on, and hopefully we can see him on the score sheet once more. And completing my midfield 4 then, at left wing back I would go with Tyreek Wright. I think we are now in a position where Matt Pennington and also Lewis Richards should be back available for selection, so Wright might be competing with Richards in there. I don't think Wright was amazing against Blackpool, but he contributed to a winning performance, and I certainly think he plays his best football as a left wing back rather than in the front 3 for Bradford City. So for me personally, he does keep his place in that side, especially if Ibu Torre is going to play at left centre back. In terms of my front 3 then, firstly as my right attacking midfielder, I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I thought he was back to his best as well against Blackpool on Sunday. It's no coincidence that when some of your better performers, or on paper your better players, do perform, then it raises the standards and the levels of every other player around them. Because I think recently there's been a little bit of a dip from Sarcevic since he's probably scored that last goal against Reading. I don't think he had been great, but against Blackpool I thought he had a really good performance, played a key part in our second goal as well. And again, we all know his win percentage when he's in and out of the side, so when he's available he does have to play. As my left attacking midfielder, as we know, Bobby Poynton is a major doubt for this one. I think Alexander said in his post-match that Poynton might join in tomorrow on Friday for full training, but then he doesn't want to risk him, especially when, with all due respect to Rotherham, it is only Rotherham, and I don't want that to come back to bite me, but when you look at what's coming next with Cardiff, Huddersfield, Lincoln, you don't want to force him back for this game against Rotherham when we've got a lot of other quality players who can also play in at that position, and then he breaks down and he's not available for the next 3. So I would personally rest him for this one, and I would give a start to Lewis Sibley. Obviously he came on off the bench and got half an hour against Blackpool, and I don't think it was great in all honesty, but he came on and pretty much straight away we scored, and then after that you were away from home, you're just trying to run the clock down and see things out. He's not played that much football so far this campaign. That was nearly double the amount of football that he played on Sunday compared to the entire first part of his season. So I would like to see Sibley get a start. I thought Callum Kavanagh was comfortably our biggest weak link against Blackpool, constantly making the wrong decision. He gets the ball in the left 10 position, and he's clearly not a number 10 because he's just not great technically, either shooting when you've got a 6-on-4 or failing to make simple 5-10 yard passes. I think he frustrated pretty much the entire away end with his performance, and everybody can see it. Callum Kavanagh, unfortunately, as of right now, just is not up to that standard. I would personally extend his contract and look to loan him out, get him some regular game time under his belt at League 2 level, because that's what he does need as of right now. So I would like to see Lewis Sibley get the start in that position. And as my striker then, I would go with Will Swan. I thought he was brilliant against Blackpool, not just because I'm obviously his biggest fan, not just because he got a goal as well. I thought his actual overall performance was really good. He linked the play, and I think you can certainly see the difference when Will Swan plays as a striker for Bradford City versus when Stephen Humphreys plays. For me personally, there's no real coincidence that since Humphreys has come into the side and Swans comes out of it, the Alexander press hasn't really been there, and then as soon as Will Swan comes back in for his first start, I think since Bolton away, then the Alexander press is back and we're looking much more front-footed. When Humphreys came on off the bench, again we're having to drop back because Humphreys, he just doesn't press the same way that Will Swan does. And I know Humphreys does get labelled as lazy and all that sort sort of stuff at times by certain sections of our fan base, but I think you got to give Will Swan credit as well for the way that he presses. He's so intelligent with that, and it was great to see him get his 7th goal of the season in all competitions. So for me, he definitely should keep his place in the squad and would be leading the line in my opinion. On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Brad Holliday, Matt Pennington, Tommy Lee, George Lapsley, Stephen Humphreys and Andy Cook. The players currently unavailable are Bobby Poynton and Nick Powell. Now the kind of update we got around Nick Powell was, well, he's just continuing his rehab program at the moment. He's running with the physios, but nowhere near to be joining back in. So maybe he's had a little bit of a setback with his injury, because I thought he'd be back around the middle to end of January, but it sounds like he's going to be nowhere near available for selection until well into February. So the players missed out then through selection, there's a lot of defenders. It would be Neil Byrne, Joe Wright, Kieran Kelly, Tom McIntyre, Lewis Richards and Callum Cavan. It's clear that for me, we need some change in the centre back positions. We also could do with bringing in another striker. I think Andy Cook being on the bench does seem very unrealistic, and again, I would certainly take Graham Alexander's post-match comments with a big pinch of salt. He said after Blackpool that nobody had come in for any of our players, and then suddenly on Wednesday there's a completed deal for Alex Patterson. And I know things can move very quick in football, but I wouldn't be 100% sure that Alex Patterson's gone from playing every now and again for Bradford City, obviously haven't been included in the squad for a couple of weeks, and then suddenly he's shipped out the door inside the first week of January. Does seem a little bit, not strange, but there's certainly eyebrows to be maybe raised at that one. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there then for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 150 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What would your starting 11 be for this game? Would you make any changes from Sunday's win against Blackpool? And what is your score prediction as well? Me personally, I'm back in Bradford City for a 3-0 home win. But thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.